I asked you on your name tags about what you wanted to be when you grew up. And lately, I've got nieces and nephews, and I ask them like about what they want to be when they grow up. And there's this thing where they're like, "I want to be YouTubers," and people are like, "Does that make sense? Can you just like decide?" I like that idea of these like new things emerging that people can theoretically. Look, when I was a kid, it wasn't the ability to say I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up, which is just how fast the world is changing. So. Marko's very smart and can talk about money, and he probably will some, but mostly he's been a really successful person right here in Northeast Ohio making a YouTube channel, and I'm extremely happy to have him here. Marko Zlatic, Mr. Whiteboard Finance himself.
I want to introduce myself, born and raised in Northeast Ohio. I was going to start this off by starting off how I actually start off all my YouTube videos. So. Welcome back to Whiteboard Finance. My name is Marko. I'm here to help you master your money and build your wealth. In today's video, this is real life, okay. And now I'm public speaking and now I'm nervous. No, all joking aside, it's funny because with my YouTube videos, which I'll show you the stats pretty soon here, they've reached millions of people. And now it's funny when you speak in person, you actually see the people that are potentially watching your videos, and you don't think about it. When it's just the camera lens, it's easy. It's just you and a whiteboard. You don't even think about it. But just so you can understand my story just a little bit better, I grew up middle class. This is a picture of one of my two homes. My dad was a neurosurgeon. My mom was a C-level executive. Just very humble beginnings. So that's just one of our summer houses. I'm kidding. I grew up in North Royalton. I was born and raised here. I was born and raised in Northeast Ohio, like most of the people in this room today. Regular, average person, grew up middle class. There's nothing different about me than anybody's abilities in this room. So started off, my parents are Eastern European immigrants. I'm first generation born here, along with my wife. I kind of compare myself to almost like a Gary V. So if you know Gary Vaynerchuk's story, he was very into selling baseball cards. So I actually used to flip Pokemon cards when I was like 11 years old. So I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I did mixtapes. So if you guys are old enough to remember like Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire, just blatantly pirating other artists, hard work. So what I would do is I'd find out like a nice, album coming out, like the Eminem Show or 50 Cent or something like that. I'd find the track list online, download all the singles, turn it into basically that album before it was released, and sell them at lunch for like $4. Not my proudest moment, but always had that entrepreneurial edge. So as I matured a little bit from selling pirated CDs and Pokemon cards, I had a very strong inkling or maturity to dig into the stock market and the markets itself. So if some of you are old enough to remember Trade King. Trade King was actually one of the lowest commission brokerages, and this was around 2006 when I was 18 years old. So Trade King would allow you to buy and sell stocks for about $4.99 a trade. Some of the other players were like $7.99 a trade, and that difference was the price of one pirated CD, so I chose to invest with Trade King. So the difference there was basically evolving into what would be my education. So I went to the University of Akron, got my finance degree. Anyone with an entrepreneurial spirit that wants to escape the W-2 rat race, being micromanaged, living in a cubicle, what do? They go and get a degree so they can pay off their student loans to live in a cubicle, get a W-2 job, be micromanaged in the rat race. So ultimately, the reason why I wanted to get this higher education of a finance degree is because I wanted to be a personal financial advisor. So the reason for that is because I had a passion for teaching people financial literacy. I had a passion for teaching people about things I know. Money is not something that we typically talk about around the dinner table. We don't talk about it at Sunday dinner. We'd rather talk about how the Cavs, the Browns, the Indians are doing. But ultimately, I think that financial literacy is one of the most important things that you can teach either your children or your community. Just because a lot of Americans, it's a fact that a lot of us live paycheck to paycheck and we are in debt. And again, grew up middle class, normal, never really was talked about in my household. However, I'm trying to change that for my future family and also for my future community here in Cleveland and, knock on wood, worldwide. So that led to graduating in December of 2010 into a terrible economy and job market. If you guys are old enough to remember, 07, 08, 09. Graduated in December of 2010 when unemployment was almost 10%. I'm bilingual. I have a finance degree. I'm not saying these things to be egotistical. I'm just saying did everything you're supposed to do. Go to, volunteer, get the internships, do this, do that, get the degree. And what did it land me? Well, I ended up selling cars when I graduated from Akron. So there's nothing wrong with selling cars, but wanted to do a little bit more than that. All these positions here, and big shout out to Mike Belcito, he's in the crowd today. Mike Belcito actually gambled on me. It was my second big boy job from graduating college. Worked with eFuneral, which is actually a Jumpstart sponsored company. So, big shout out to Jumpstart, big shout out to Mike and all the team members here at eFuneral. So all these positions that I held, car sales, working in death care, working in commercial real estate development, technology sales, commercial real estate lending, credit analysis, all that stuff, it never really scratched the itch of going back to the reason why I even went to school in the first place, and that was to become a financial advisor and help people, master their money, build their wealth, build financial literacy. So although I was never really unsatisfied with any of these jobs, it was always something that left more to be desired in terms of what I originally went to school for. So I did what any mid-20s, lost, somewhat creative type would do. They buy a really expensive DSLR camera, and they go to the metro parks, and they think they're, the next famous photographer. Good thing my wife is beautiful, otherwise I'd just be taking pictures of trees and birds. So ultimately, she ended up taking the best picture ever taken, in my opinion, on this camera, which was a picture of me staring at a lake. So photo credit to my beautiful wife. And when I realized that this is the best picture that I took, or that she took, the camera just collected dust. It sat in a corner just like most aspiring hobbyist photographers end up doing. They buy all the 8 million lenses and they spend a bunch of money, and then it collects dust in the corner of their room. So I told myself, okay, I'm not going to waste this money. I'm going to actually take this camera that I spent, like $1,000 on. It's not going to collect dust. And I did what any Slavic Eastern European person would do. I went on Craigslist, okay, and I bought a really big whiteboard. So my brother-in-law and I drove to Parma, Ohio, bought a big whiteboard. It's huge. It's like ridiculously huge. We literally had to hold it on the roof of the car in October, and I think I got like frostbite on my right hand. And he's trying to drive with like one hand with the whiteboard on the roof. So anyway, we buy this whiteboard, and voila, on November 17th of 2017, Whiteboard Finance is born. So as you can see here on the right-hand side of the screen, this is a screenshot from literally the first thumbnail of the first video I've ever done. It was called How to Establish Credit in 2018. I should probably update that title for 2020 just to mess with the algorithm. And everyone's going to say, like, hey, you look a lot younger in this video. What happened? Well, it is about 2 years old, and you can see in the bottom left corner there, it only has about 4,100 views, which sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not enough to make a living off of. However, these videos are. This is a car dealership video. If you look at the red arrow, that video has 6.6 million views, launched in about March of 2019. Thank you. I think she watches my videos. Thank you. I appreciate it. Buying versus leasing a car, 1 million views. 2020 recession. Don't hold me to that anymore. That's 6 months old. 954,000 views. How to manage your money, 700,000 views. 7 car dealership ripoffs that you should never pay. Sorry for all the car dealers in the room. I apologize. I buy my cars from private parties off Craigslist, so whatever. I'm still alive. Okay, I didn't get kidnapped or chopped up. I'm not in a freezer. Okay, like Craigslist is okay. 580,000 views, and then basically the summary of my channel. And this is not from like a bragging or egotistical standpoint. It's just to give you perspective of what is possible from a regular person born and raised in Northeast Ohio. So the summary of my channel as of last night, as I threw this presentation together, is 16.7 million views and counting, 1.7 million plus hours of watch time, and 300,000 subscribers. So the reason I say that is because YouTube is one of the best platforms that you can be on today, but in the vein of the subject of this speaking engagement of investing or invest, I do want to go through 7 quick steps of how not to be broke. So terrible transition there, but you'll see what I'm getting to later in this presentation. So I'm not taking credit for these. This is basically just Dave Ramsey. Anyone familiar with Dave Ramsey in the crowd? Okay. Dave Ramsey's great, and it works. His philosophy works for 95% of the population if you want to be content and middle class, which is perfectly fine. That's how I grew up, and I'm very grateful for it. First step is save $1,000, okay? So this is kind of like your insurance safety net. So say, for example, something goes wrong with the tire. You get a flat on the way to the Jumpstart presentation. There goes a couple $100, but you at least have a safety net. Once you save up that $1,000, the next step is to pay off all of your debt except your mortgage. Get rid of your credit card debt, your consumer debt, your car loans, your student loans, all the things that literally take money out of your pocket through interest every month. Pay that off. Trust me, it's the quickest way to start building wealth once you pay off the debt. Step 3 is to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. So this is considered your emergency fund. You want to have this in a liquid account. So whether it's a savings account, money market account, checking account, or under your mattress with a shotgun, whatever you prefer. I would rather just keep it in the bank, to be honest with you. But it's always good to have this money liquid. So my rule of thumb is if you're single, 3 months is fine. If you have a significant other, 4 or 5 months is fine. If you're providing for someone else, like a kid, or someone else is relying on you to put food in their stomach, 6 months is what I would recommend. So once you have those 3 steps done, now it's time to start investing for your future, for your retirement. Dave and myself recommend to put away at least 15% of your household income for retirement. This could be in a 401k. This could be in a Roth IRA if you're a business owner or an employee. It could be in a SEP IRA. I'm not going to go into details about all of these accounts because you can literally just watch my channel or Google it, but you need to start investing for your retirement. Gone are the days typically of pensions and companies taking care of you once you hit 62 years old. People are retiring later, and the cost of living is only increasing. That goes through inflation, which is a stealth tax, but I'm not going to get too political this early in the morning. So number 5, save for your children's college. If you don't plan on having kids, or you're unable to have children, or you don't want to fund a niece's, nephew's, best friend's kids, college because they're a brat, you don't have to do that. You can skip this step. Or if you do have kids and you don't feel like the ROI in college is there anymore, say they want to become a blue-collar worker. There's nothing wrong with that. A plumber, an electrician. Say they want to be an entrepreneur. This could be a fund that helps fund their business so they don't have to take out a loan once they get to that age. So say they want to open up a competitor to Phoenix Coffee. I'm just kidding. I know they're a big sponsor of the show. So number 6, pay off your home early. This is when you can actually start saving up massive money, which will put you into a position of, instead of paying off principal, interest, taxes, insurance, well, you can't get rid of taxes or insurance. Otherwise, you'll see who really owns your house. That's where you start to build wealth and give. So being philanthropic, or being a member of your community, or someone who wants to give and uphold and upbring your community, such as people like Tom that are putting these events together, people like Mike, shout out to Mike for introducing me to Tom to help me even get in this position to speak in the first place. You need to be able to give, whether you donate to the metro parks, whether you donate to a cause that you really care about, whether it's a wing of, knock on wood, you can get to this position one day of donating a wing to a hospital. You just got to think big and be philanthropic and think of others rather than just yourself. So you're all sitting here thinking to yourself, yes, Marko, this sounds good, this sounds great, but I'm a barista making $9 an hour. I live paycheck to paycheck. How can I do any of those 7 steps that you just talked about? Well, this is where I parlay it all back into why increasing your income with YouTube is absolutely essential to everyone in this room, and I feel like everyone in this room has the ability to create a YouTube channel. So some quick stats about YouTube if you guys aren't familiar. YouTube is basically the world's 2nd biggest search engine after Google, and Google owns YouTube. So you're basically in that same ecosystem, okay? It really is 1984 Big Brother, okay? They know when you're on the toilet, they know everything about you, okay? But it's too early, I'm not gonna get too graphic. So basically, YouTube has 2 billion users per month. This is basically 25% of the world's population. 73% of American adults use YouTube regularly. That's 3 out of 4 people in this room. Quick show of hands, who uses YouTube regularly? That's actually exactly 73%, okay? I counted, multiplied by 2, and then divided. I'm just kidding. Number 3, $5.5 billion in ads. That's just American revenue only. That doesn't account for the rest of the world. You have to think of all the viewers in Australia, Canada, Russia, Europe, et cetera, India. Again, it's the second most popular video platform right after Netflix, and again, it's the second largest search engine in the world after Google. So, who knows about Ryan's Toys reviews? She does. Okay, she lives on YouTube. She's my favorite fan. Thank you. I don't know her. She just thank you. That's my wife. She's not my wife. It's like a plant. It's like a plant in the audience. You know, like the one person that claps for everything. My unfunny jokes. So he's 8 years old and he's made more money than anybody in this room ever will, okay? That's all you need to know. All joking aside, he is literally 8 or 9 years old. In 2019 alone, he's made $26 million. That's between his ad revenue and also his toy deals with Walmart. So that's the potential. That's not where I'm at, but who knows? So these are the ways to monetize a YouTube channel. So you're probably thinking to yourself, if you're not familiar, how do you make money? Well, there's a bunch of different ways. It's not just ads, and I'll go into that very quickly here. Number one, although, is ad revenue. So this is my car dealership video. This video took me about 5 hours to make between outlining, recording, editing, posting to social media, and about another 5 hours to respond to comments, engagement, all that stuff. So in 10 hours, I made $66,248.11. So I made about $6,600 an hour. Quick show of hands, who makes $6,600 an hour in the room? Okay. No, all joking aside, I'm not saying that to be, can I swear? I'm not saying that to be an ass. It's just that this is the true potential of this platform. That's one video, took me literally 5 hours to make, nurtured it another 5 hours. I'm all in for 10 hours. The rest of the time I'm, playing soccer, going to the gym, in the sauna, whatever. Made 66 grand. Again, that's not to brag, it's to show you the potential of what's on this platform. Number two, affiliate marketing. Who is familiar with affiliate marketing? Raise your hand. Who knows what that is? So affiliate marketing is basically a form of salesmanship. You're receiving a commission for recommending a product, okay? This is one of the biggest ways that YouTube channels monetize. So this is a review that I did for Fundrise. Fundrise is an investing platform. It's kind of like a crowd-sourced or a crowdfunding platform for real estate. You invest real money in real projects. The sponsor, the person who's creating the deal, gets the money. You get a piece of the deal. I did an unbiased, objective review on Fundrise about 4 months ago. As you can see there in the top, it has about 56,000 views. And what you do is you say, hey, if you're interested in investing in Fundrise, use my link in the description below. When people click on that link, it plants a cookie in their browser. Okay, so who knows what a cookie is? Anyone? Good. Okay, it's when you have to accept every single website you go to. It says, we use cookies, accept. That's what a cookie is. It knows, so Fundrise knows that Marko referred, John, for example, to the platform. Every time someone signs up for Fundrise, I make $60, okay? Not sure if I can disclose that. Maybe it's 60. 60 to 300, there's a good range. I'm kidding, it's 60. So anyway, but you have to realize when you have 56,000 views, the reach that you get on YouTube, it's a big number multiplied by a small number, turns into a big number kind of a thing. Number three is digital products. So digital products, this is an endless source of revenue because there's very little variable costs. These are all mostly fixed costs. You pay for it once, you create it once, and it makes you money potentially forever. You can do ebooks. So say you're a gardener and you love gardening. You create the best gardening ebook in the world. You sell it for $10 on Amazon. You promote it on your channel. Guess what? That book will exist forever, and it only costs you the one-time fixed cost to create that book. There's no overhead. It's not like you're making widgets where every widget costs you 37 cents to make, right? This is a one-time fixed cost. You can do online courses. You can do membership groups, which allows you to create recurring revenue. If you're creative, you can create LUTs. LUTs are, all the videographers in the room are like, oh my God, he mentioned LUTs. Like 99% of the people don't know what LUTs is. It's basically a filter for video editing. Spreadsheets, templates, study guides. Say you're a nurse. Say you're studying for the NCLEX. You can create a crash course on NCLEX. This is brought to you by the best nurse on YouTube, right? Same thing with the CPA. There's a lot of people that are learning to become certain things, and if you are a subject matter expert, you can help them become that with your product, okay? Number four is sponsorships. So who knows what a Simply Safe is? Anyone? Simply Safe. Has your house been robbed yet? Because I have one of these. I want to see. All right, good. So I'm good. All right, Simply Safe. This was a sponsorship. It took me literally a minute and a half to make this. You just shout them out, and you get paid a certain amount of money. So once you get to the point of being able to reach a good audience, you will be approached by different sponsors. That's another form. And then finally, consulting. There's more than these 5, but these are the 5 main ones that most professional YouTubers make. So this is a platform called Clarity FM. I charge about $150 for consulting. I help people with financial consulting, which is finally scratching that itch of becoming a financial advisor, and then also YouTube consulting and growth. So again, none of these things were meant to brag or come from an egotistical standpoint. It's to show you the possibility that there is a very good way of making money without having to invest all of your time. So why am I telling you all this morning? Is it to sit here and say, oh, I made 60 grand on this video? No. I'm usually a very private person, but I felt like sharing that just because I want to show you guys the potential of the platform. So I'm telling you all this because we had a beautiful girl perform. Am I allowed to say that? Wife? Okay. We had a beautiful woman just perform. You know, she can turn that into a YouTube channel. We had someone pitching their product looking for a headhunter. We had someone else pitching the world's smallest, or the Ohio's smallest art gallery, excuse me. All of these things can be turned into YouTube channels, whether you're a gardener, whether you're a hobbyist, whether you're a bird watcher. Whatever you're passionate about, you can turn this into a YouTube channel. There is a but for every seat. You have to realize this reaches 2 billion people every day, every month, but really it is in the days. So I'm going to leave it on this slide, basically. This is the second last slide, but I do want to reiterate that YouTube, in my opinion, is one of the best business models out there, and this all ties back into investing in yourself. So Tom started the talk by saying you got to invest in yourself, whether it's from a creative standpoint or just investing in yourself in general. I think that if you take the time to create a channel about something you're already passionate about, these are the 5 reasons why YouTube is one of the best business models that exists. You stop trading your time for money. So when we go to work from 8 to 5 every day, we're trading our time for money, okay? We can only make as much money for as much time that we trade it for. With this, I literally sleep. So you know those corny like snake oil salesmen, like, I'm on the beach sipping Mai Tais, buy my course for $9.97. I really was in Cancun on the beach sipping Mai Tais, making money. So passive income is number 1. Once you start to earn a passive residual income, you can then start to eliminate those baby steps, the 7 steps that I talked about earlier in the presentation. Number 2, very low overhead. I'm a one-man show. I edit, I record, I do literally everything, and I'm still able to keep my sanity while doing that. If I wanted to hire those things out, I could easily do so. However, I enjoy the creative process of video editing. So it's very low overhead, okay? Instant credibility. So whatever you want to be perceived as in terms of subject matter expert, you get instant credibility. So whether it's true or not, people, when they see you speak in front of a screen or on a TV or on their cell phone, it's like, wow, you know, Marko's an expert. I'm not. You know, I study this stuff, and I would like to consider myself an expert, but you know, I don't have all the designations, and I'm not the smartest financial advisor in the world, nor do I consider myself one. However, I don't usually give myself enough credit, but there's a lot of charlatans on YouTube as well, but people perceive them as subject matter experts, whether they are or not. But you do get that instant credibility. Number 4 is global reach without the ad spend. So you don't need to spend $1 bajillion to get your message out there, whether it's through Instagram or YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter. You can create a video with the proper title, the proper keywords, the proper tags, and as long as you've done your research ahead of time, Google will always surface the best videos and the best results for their viewers. That's the business that they're in, is ads and procuring good content. So you have global reach without the ad spend. I didn't spend 1 penny on any of those videos to promote them, and I have, again, about 16 million views in the history of my channel. Number 5 is that it's location independent. So as long as you have internet and electricity, you can do this from Chiang Mai, Thailand. You can do this from Eastern Europe. You can do it from Australia. You can do it from your mom's basement. It doesn't matter. As long as you have an internet connection and electricity, you can upload videos to YouTube. It truly is one of the best business models out there. So one of my favorite movies is The Matrix. So I had to end it with the red pill, blue pill. This is not political. Relax. So you can take the red pill and vote Trump. No, I'm just kidding. You can take the red pill and you can try it. You can fail. Or no one's like, some people are laughing, some people aren't. Like, who do I? All right, just picture them naked. So you can take the red pill. You can try YouTube. You can fail. You can succeed. But at least you tried. I was working at KeyBank, making a decent middle-class income. Now I make a little bit more than that, but I also have my time back. I have a lot more freedoms now that I am a business owner. Or you can take the blue pill. You cannot, try to be on YouTube, social media, whatever. This is basically a microcosm of saying you got to do your own thing, and you have to at least try. Because if you don't try, you're going to have the regrets, and you're never going to know if you're going to succeed. So thank you so much for attending the talk today. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.